Today on the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell explained why he wanted Ed Donatel as his defensive coordinator, mostly because he has good experience and teaching ability. This is the Vikings. The Vikings rode to 500 wins.
The Broncos I've liked ever since Peyton Manning played there.
Alright, let's get into it. I don't know what this headline is. Vikings defenses disguise challenging offense with cat and mouse game. Unless I just didn't understand it. Right, so when Kevin O'Connell took the helm in Minnesota, he knew exactly what he wanted in a defensive coordinator. The new head coach placed emphasis on experience, teaching ability, and scheme, and Donatello checked all three boxes. O'Connell said Donatello's system intertwined with Vic Fangio tree, with the Vic Fangio tree is one. Oh, O'Connell said Donatello's system intertwined with the Vic Fangio tree is one that has spread to multiple teams across the league. That family of defense has really caused a lot of problems, and it's because it puts a lot of stress on the quarterback on the other side post snap. Puts a lot of stress on the quarterback on the other side post snap. Puts a lot of stress on the communication of the offense to make sure they're able to play within the framework. Once the ball is snapped, O'Connell explained that's where you really have to define the detail as an offense. That's what I love about practicing against it every day. It forces us to really learn what we're capable of and what we're doing, instead of just taking advantage of every look we see pre-snap. But first and foremost, the person, the team, the teacher, the experience level, the support he can be. For me, as a first-time head coach, the opportunity to bring him in was something I was really excited about, O'Connell said of Donatel. And then veteran cornerback Patrick Peterson entering his 12th season and second in purple. Bought into Donatello's system from his first position group meeting this spring. Peterson said Donatello has emphasized stealing the second from the quarterback by disguising pre-snap looks and making the quarterback hesitate just another moment. Lining up in certain things to steal that second is going to make our job that much easier, because when you have a confused quarterback, you won't have a clear indication on where to get the ball, where to go with the ball. That gives Danielle and Zaza an ability to get that much more pressure on him. Yeah, I like that nickname better. Peterson said, I love the scheme, I love the way it's structured, I love the way it's built, and I'm just excited to see how it's going to unfold here in the fall. And I think that's mostly because Donatel, when he was with the Bears under Vic Fangio, Matt Nagy was the head coach, Vic Fangio was the defensive coordinator, and Ed Donatel was the cornerbacks coach. He coached Eddie Jackson, Kyle Fuller, and Prince Amukamara, three of the best defensive backs in the league. And then they go to Denver. Vic Fangio is the head coach, and Ed Donatel is the defensive coordinator. So he has experience with cornerbacks, and that I could see why. I could see if that's why Peterson says he loved the scheme. Quarterback Kirk Cousins can attest to the difficulty of the defense which he's faced from Chicago. Fangio as defensive coordinator from 15 to 18, and Denver Donatel as defensive coordinator from 19 to 21, and now in practice against his defensive teammates. Cousins called it a muddy scheme to try to figure out. When you drop back, you don't know quite what you're getting, and obviously as a quarterback or any position on offense, you want to know what you're getting. Cousins explained, they're doing a good job with disguise, making things look the same, and that's the best word I can say, is making things muddy as I drop back. I think it's a great scheme, and they do a great job, but it just makes practice difficult, he added. And then during quarterback meetings, O'Connell said he could pause the film just before the snap and ask the players to identify what defense the opponents are showing. Chances are the quarterbacks would strike out, and it isn't because they haven't been studying. A lot of times, more often than not, they would just be guessing and probably wrong. O'Connell said until that post-snap play declares and those guys understand all the different rules and tools that they have at their disposal to tilt the scales in our advantage defensively, which is hard to do with the great offenses that exist in this league. The great quarterback play that we have in our league and all the playmakers and people's ability to marry the run and the pass. Everybody's doing it, so you really have to try to combat that with the complexity on defense. O'Connell continued, but our defensive guys all know what to do. The communication is premium, and we have very few snaps where we are not doing our jobs as a group of 11. Assuming defensive players are confident in their assignments, Cousins noted, it becomes a game of cat and mouse between them and the offense. If a guy thinks he can make a play across the field from his current alignment, the last thing he wants to do is leave that alignment to tell me something, Cousins said. So that's why you want guys who can run, who can jump, who can cover, and understand the percentages of what's coming so they can start to lean certain ways and hold things longer, so you try to take advantage of that. If you're going to do that and not to get where you need to be, then we need to find a way to make you pay. He added, from Cousins' point of view in the pocket, having versatile players on the roster is most important to execute Donatell's scheme as it's intended. A lot of responsibility will be on inside linebackers Eric Hendricks and Jordan Hicks, the latter of whom the Vikings signed in free agency. You can trust the linebacker cover to pressure and stop the run. Then you don't have to put him in one role and then give him a variety of responsibilities physically and mentally, Cousins said. Same with corners and safeties. If you trust a safety to cover receivers, you can ask them to play man-to-man, but it doesn't look like man-to-man because that is a safety, not a corner, unless his name is Ronnie Lott. There's a variety of things you can do, but it helps to have smart players and versatile players, and we have both. You might notice I did not talk much during that whole thing. I thought it was just more interesting to read it than to talk about it. But one thing, the offensive players not being able to guess the defensive alignment, or especially Kirk Cousins, the quarterback, not being able to guess the defensive alignment. Kirk Cousins has done this as his job for 10 years. So he knows how to read defensive alignments, and that's why you hear 28 different audibles before the snap, and the quarterback often snaps it right at 0 because the quarterback's often making 30 different adjustments, 14 different audibles, and 12 motions before the play because they know how to read a defense. And the fact that he wasn't able to do it there is impressive. Anyways, that's going to be it for the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit that bell, comment videos you'd like to see. And as always, never forget, the Packers will always suck. And Skol Vikings.